Good day everyone, my name is Jenny Soriano Mamita from BSC 1-2. So for today's video, I am going to discuss the topic about cultural deviance theory and delinquent subculture theory. But before we start, here's the learning objectives for these topics. First, we are going to define what cultural deviance theory and delinquent subculture theory is. Next, the historical foundation of cultural deviance theory. Next is the significant person on delinquent subculture. Lastly, how the lower class engage in deviant behaviors. So our first agenda for this video under the cultural deviance theory is we are going to define what culture and deviance is. Culture is a way of life of group of people, the behaviors, beliefs, and symbols that they accepted generally without thinking about them, and that are passed along by communication and imitation from one generation to next. Meaning, culture pertains to people's beliefs, values, and behaviors that they accept, and they pass it through communication and imitation to other people or to other generation. On the other hand, deviance is any beliefs, a behavior, or condition that violates the social norms in the society, and people who engage in deviant behaviors are called deviant. Meaning, when we say deviance, it is all about the person's beliefs and behaviors that violate the social norms in the society they have. And deviants are referred or called to a person who engage in deviant behaviors. And next agenda for this topic is we are going to find out the historical foundation of cultural deviance theory, which is the University of Chicago, or now called Chicago School, because most of the intellectual roots of cultural deviance theories came in that school. By the way, Mr. Robert Park is the founder of Chicago School. And the school stressed the need for empirical study of crime and delinquency. Now, I am going to explain and discuss to all of you the cultural deviance theory. This theory arose because of the combination of what we call strain theory plus the social disorganization theory. According to Britannica.com, strain theory is about the pressure that an individual have due to social factors such as lack of income or lack of quality education that drives an individual to commit crime. Meaning, the lower class commits criminal acts because those social factors push them to do bad things. They engage in crime to reduce or escape from the strain that they are experiencing. For example, in order for them to reduce the financial problem, they steal someone else's money or property because of the lack of income. Meanwhile, Bursick 1988 defines social disorganization theory as an inability of the community to achieve shared values or solve jointly problems. Social disorganization theory happened due to people's inability to share same values because they have different sets of values, principles, mindsets, and personalities. And we all know in our society we have different social classes, and because of that differences, people tends to clash and misunderstand with each other, that causes them to have a bad relationship and socialization with each other. By that, they failed to solve the arising problem jointly because they don't have proper communication to each other. And that's what social disorganization theory about. When we combine these two theories, the cultural deviance theory arose. This theory suggests that due to the negative emotions, deteriorating community, and extreme economic deprivation, the lower class feel isolated, resulting to the creation of their unique set of values and beliefs. And we all know what kind of life and situation the lower class have. They lack on many different things. They felt isolated, and they also felt that they are different from the other classes. So because the other classes can easily attain what they want, unlike the lower class, they can't afford to achieve what they desire. So due to the isolation and frustration that they felt, they create their own set of values and beliefs. That action of creating set of values and beliefs is called deviant subculture, which is distinguished as deviant behaviors. Deviant subculture is groups that develop values and norms considered outside the culture of the dominant population. Examples of deviant subcultures include some musical groups, youth gangs, alternative lifestyles, and non-traditional religious communities. Another deviant subculture embraces a concept, interest, or a style that is considered strange or even wrong in general society. These subcultures can be break down into three basic groups: criminal, sexual, and drug-related. According to Balemba 2020 and Pescasio 2021, they stated that the lower class created these values to have a way to be successful, even if they can be successful by typical social standards. People in the lower class believe that they lack of ability to achieve what they deserve. That's why they thought that setting their own values and beliefs might help them to achieve what they desire. In conclusion, due to the extreme poverty, negative emotions, and extreme economic deprivation, the lower class feel isolated, resulting them to create their own unique set of values and beliefs which does not accordance to the social norms that they have, that leads them to commit criminal acts. Now, let's proceed to the next topic, which is the delinquent subculture theory. Again, before we start, let's define first what delinquent and subculture is. Delinquent is a person, usually young, who behaves in a way that is illegal or not acceptable to most people. Meaning it pertains to a minor who do illegal things or crime. Next, subculture are defined as subsystem or anti-system of society with their own attitudes and norms that often contradict to the moral concept of majority society. It's about the anti-system of attitudes and norms that people created, which is often contradict to the moral concept of the majority society. Now, delinquent subculture theory claims that the inability of the lower class to fit in the middle class standards made them gather together and build their subculture that rejects the middle class values and it is considered to be as antisocial. Subculture theory says that due to the inability of the lower class to fit in the middle class standard, made them gather together to build the subculture that rejects the middle class values, wherein that subculture is considered as antisocial. According to Cohen 2015, he defined delinquent subculture theory. He says that it pertains to the union of young people and into subculture as the result of adjustment and status problem of their members caused by the inequality of the existing class society. So, this theory exists because the member of subculture felt that there's an existing inequality in the society they have because they can't afford to attain the standard that middle class have. Next is the middle class measuring rods. By the way, this term was created by Albert K. Cohen. It says that members of the lower class are unable to meet the standard of middle class, and in that case, it affects their life. Also, according to Cohen, some lower class children fail to meet up in the standard of the middle class in school expectation. It resulted them of what we call status frustration, where they felt frustrated and angry because they can't afford to attain the standard the middle class have. So, to defend themselves, they gathered together and they created their own subculture that rejects the middle class standards and values. And that rejection is what we call reaction formation. If the kids didn't have any role good model, they might tend to join these three types of boys according again to Cohen. First is the corner boys. This type of boys engage in truancy, drug abuse, and different illegal acts. And second is the college boys. These boys embrace middle class values. And lastly, the delinquent boys. It pertains to boys who embrace the beliefs that are directly opposing to the middle class norms. In conclusion, failure of the lower class to fit in the middle class standard made them felt status frustration. To resolve this frustration, they formed their own subcultures that reject the middle class standards, and that is considered as antisocial. That rejection is called reaction formation that serve as their defense mechanism. These are the references that I use for this presentation. To end it properly, Rosemary Peck says, "We can achieve anything we desire if we give ourselves the time and the right resources to learn. But these are worthless without the focus and determination to be successful." And that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Bye!